The latest Pokemon TCG expansion, Journey Together, is almost here, and pre-release events are this coming weekend. So I'm going to dive into this build and battle kit, see what's inside, and how we can edit the deck to further your gameplay at your local pre-release event. Let's get into it. Alright, so I goofed up pretty bad, and I didn't plug the audio source into OBS as I recorded this video. So we're gonna have to go ahead and dub over some of the stuff and just get into the highlights of what I'm talking about in this video. So I definitely screwed up pretty bad. I don't have another one of these. I can't recreate this. So we'll see what happens here. But talk about what's inside the build and battle kit. You get a 40 card semi-randomized deck as well as 4 booster packs. But before you go to pre-release, make sure you take some things like some deck box action, some sleeves. In this case, I decided to bring back out the Lysander ones from the vault because, you know, trainers Pokemon. We have the new Gen 6 stuff coming out soon in the future as well. And of course, make sure you take some dice, some damage counters, coins, poison and burn markers. That way. All right, and here I used my Dragapult to rip this thing open. And yep, we'll take the cover off of the top, open this up, and inside you'll see we have this deck building tips guide. Of course, it's going to talk about, you know, how to modify this deck, a little bit of introduction for the set, and all the deck building tips. If you need that, you know, make sure you read that when you open your build and battle kit up. Here we're going to take a look at the set list of the cards included, and there are a lot, I believe. We have 190 cards, including the secret rares and illustration rares that may or may not be in here. Who knows? There might be some more stuff. We'll find out when we actually start ripping packs. So then, yep, we've got our 40 card semi-randomized deck as well as 4 booster packs here. We got the Iono's Kilowattrel with Flashing Draw. Discard a basic lightning energy from this Pokemon to use the ability. Once during your turn, you can draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. So pretty good way to support your pre-release gaming with the ability here. The attack isn't too great with Mach Bolt for a lightning and 2 colorless. I think there's much better choices. And as we dive deeper into this, of course, you'll see what's going on with that. Of course, the code cards aren't live yet, so they'll be in TCG Live in the next few weeks. But yep, there is the Iono's Kilowattrel as well as our Trainer's Tips Guide talking about Noivern and Hops Corviknight. Hops Corviknight is definitely going to be the star of this deck. So as we're going to go through here, we have a Noibat, a Metal Energy, a Rookidee, Buddy Poffin, Lightning Energy, Hops Corvisquire, another Kilowattrel, more energy. We have Iris's Fighting Spirit. You can only use this if you discard another card from your hand. Draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. Pretty good supporter. We have Surfer. Will let you change the position of one of the Pokemon from your bench to your active. And then if you do, draw until you have 5 cards. We've got the Corviknight. We got Drayton to help you find a Pokemon and a trainer, looking at the top 7 cards of your deck. Some more energy. We have Nemona to draw 3. We have the Wattrel to go with the Kilowattrel. Basic Metal Energy. Earthen Vessel, very fantastic card. The Noivern here. We'll dive into the Noivern a little bit more later on. We have TM Evolution, which is fantastic for setting your deck up. We have an Ultra Ball, more Noibat, some energy. We have Brock Scouting, a brand new supporter card. We have the Noivern as well as Hop's Choice Belt, which is going to go really well here. The Choice Band is fantastic. Youngster for some shuffle draw. Lavincia to recur some lightning energy, and another basic metal energy. All right, and here we are with the 40 card deck laid out. We have the Hops Corviknight as the star of the show with Shoot Through for 50 damage to the opponent's active Pokemon and 50 damage to one of their bench Pokemon for just a single energy. This combos fantastically with the Hops Choice Band, which allows you to do 30 additional damage to your opponent's active Pokemon and reduces the attacks by this Pokemon used by a single colorless. So effectively for 0 energy cards, you're going to hit 80 on the active Pokemon and 50 on their bench. That is absolutely really good for pre-release as you just start chipping up damage and moving along further. The Iono's Kilowattrel isn't the greatest attacker, but we are going to use it for the Flashing Draw ability, discarding a lightning energy from it to draw until you have 6 cards in hand. And drawing all the different cards and all these different numbers that we have on Iris's Fighting Spirit, Youngster, Brock Scouting, Nemona, Drayton, and Surfer are supporter cards that are going to let us do various different functions. We're going to use the Noivern with the Tuning Echo ability. If we have the same number of cards in our hand as our opponent does in theirs, we can ignore the energy costs in the Frightening Howl attack. It does 110 damage and confuses the opponent's active Pokemon, effectively another 0 energy attacker. between the Corviknight and the Noivern, we really don't need a lot of energy cards in our build and battle kit, but we have Earthen Vessel to help us find them and discard a card if we need to, as well as Ultra Ball, discarding 2 cards to search for a Pokemon. Additionally, Brock Scouting will let you search for 2 basic Pokemon or an evolution Pokemon, so you could potentially change the amount of cards in your hand if you need to by adding the 2 basics, plussing that up by 1. Youngster will let you shuffle and draw 5 cards. Nimona just lets you draw a straight 3. Surfer will let you change the position of one of your Pokemon, so switch in and out, and draw until you have 5 cards. And Drayton will let you look at the top 7 cards to find any trainer card and a Pokemon there. And what's really cool about things like Drayton and Earthen Vessel and Ultra Ball is that you can decide to fail to find any of those specified cards. That way you can either increase or decrease the amount of cards in your hand to make it easier to use Tuning Echo. Additionally, the other cards in here, we have a Jet Energy attached to a bench Pokemon, bring it up to the active. Really good for establishing a Corviknight after you use your TM evolution. And of course, the Lavincia will let you add 2 Lightning Energy from your discard pile back to your hand. You can effectively just add 1. So if you need a +1, you can grab 2 after you play the Lavincia if it's been in play for a few turns, so on and so forth. So lots of ways to manipulate the cards in hand to be able to attack for free with Noivern, confuse your opponent's active Pokemon, and then also finish things off with Shoot Through on the Corviknight. Okay, so we have our 4 booster packs of this set. My first time opening these up, so we're gonna go ahead and dive in and see what we get. And of course, you know, hopefully we can get some fire to modify our 40 card deck with the cards in these packs. All right, so as we're gonna go ahead and get started, of course, the code cards aren't live yet, as I mentioned before, so we're gonna go ahead and set that off to the side, and we're gonna move the energy up to the front of the pack. Flip this thing around. We have a basic Psychic Energy, and of course, we're staying with the Terras, which is kind of a shocker because there are no more Terra Pokemon here. We have a Qfant, Sprigatito, Hops Silicobra, Fungus, Ends PP Up, and a lot of people are going to make jokes about this card, so expect that at your local Pokemon leagues. We have Iono's Electrode, Thump Thump Boom, does 100 damage to itself. Flip a coin. If heads, it knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon. We have Hops Bag, which is fantastic for our deck. Search our deck for 2 basic Hops Pokemon, put them on the bench. So this is just going to get our Rookies really quick. We're back to a Alolan Pokemon coming back into the TCG for the first time in a hot minute, as well as a Cramorant, and we have a Magearna with Auto Heal if it's in the active spot. Whenever you attach an energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon, heal 90 damage. And of course, we have Spike Draw for a colorless. It does 20 and let you draw 2 cards. I thought about including this into the deck, but ultimately decided against it. All right, pack number 2. Gonna rip into this thing here. Hopefully we get some sweet pulls. Spoiler alert, I already know. I'm from the future. We have a Nimble, Larvitar with Crunch, Remoraid, Carablast, a Yukamori. The clay card's always super cute. Hop Sanaconda. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to use this. Fighting Energy. We have to play more stuff, so it's not going to work out with our deck. End's Castle, fantastic card, giving all of End's Pokemon free retreat. And then we pull a third Rookidee. We had 2 in the deck. We're definitely going to play this third one. The reverse foil is coming in the clutch, and we got Enge Joltik, which isn't a bad card for 2 colorless. It does zapping short for 30 and discards all tool cards before doing damage from your opponent's active Pokemon. And if you discarded a tool, it paralyzes them. So that's really good in pre-release, but the fact that we need to do 2 energy on this 40 HP Pokemon doesn't feel too great. We really just want to focus on everything else. And we have an Amoonguss EX with 260 HP with 2 attacks, Spore Ball, and Champignon Swing. First one for 1 grass, puts him to sleep and does 30 damage, and then the other one is 100 plus, flip a coin, if heads, 80 more damage. So not the greatest thing ever, but we did actually get the fungus in the last pack, so it is a possibility, but I decide ultimately against putting it into the deck. One at the front, of course, energy out of here. We got a Fighting Energy. We have a Lilligant with Sunny Day. Attacks used by your grass and fire Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Another Alolan Graveler. We have a Dunsparce here. It's one of the crochet ones. Super cute. Impidimp, Gentle Slap. We have a Greedent Gluttonous Tail. Regice with Icicle and Blizzard. Another Hops Corviknight, which is pretty cool. It could potentially be a third one into the deck. We have a Metapod with Harden. And another Greedent Reverse. And right behind it, another Magearna. All right. the fourth and final pack, of course, removing the code card. We'll give those away over on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it in the future, whenever you can use those in Pokemon TCG Live. Got a basic Fire Energy. We have Torchic, really cute sitting in the field there. We have a Lilligant, a Alolan Graveler, Dunsparce, seeing the same uncommons quite a lot. We have a Winkalone, Excelgor, Pelipper, Postwick, which is fantastic for the deck. We get to do 30 more damage from our Hops Pokemon into the opponent's active Pokemon, definitely including that, and a Combuskin and a Hops double, but we did not pull any Wooloo for our deck. But Defiant Horn is an ability where if you can evolve it, you can just effectively boss his orders or gust up one of their bench Pokemon up to the active and put it there and then smack into it with whatever and take some knockouts. It's a pretty good card, but again, we didn't pull any Wooloo. I'm going to go ahead and cut, and then we'll take a look at the deck going forward. All right, so here we go. We have our 40 card deck. We have the 2 copies of Hops Corviknight with Shoot Through and Steel Wing. We have 2 copies of the Corvisquire and 3 copies of the Rookidee thanks to pulling the reverse foil. We kept the 2 Noibat and Noivern line thanks to Tuning Echo and Frightening Howl being actually pretty cool. And our promo, the Kilowattrel, as well as a regular one, and the 2 copies of Wattrel to evolve up into it, just for the flashing draw. I don't know how often I ended up using it, but we have that for sure. Into the supporters, we have a Nemona to draw 3, Youngster to shuffle, draw 5, Brock Scouting to search for 2 basic Pokemon or 1 evolution and put them into your hand. We have Iris's Fighting Spirit, discard another card, draw until you have 6. And Surfer, switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched, and if you do, draw until you have 5. And then we have Drayton. Look at the top 7, reveal a Pokemon and a trainer card, put them into your hand, shuffle the rest back into the deck. So that's it for the supporters. Pretty decent spread of them altogether. One of our best pulls here, definitely this Postwick reverse foil. Attacks used by Hops Pokemon do 30 more damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. And we did decide to keep in the Levincia to recur some of those lightning energies if need be. We did pull a Hops bag, so that's going to let us search our deck for 2 basic Hops Pokemon and put them onto the bench. And then we did just keep in the Buddy Buddy Poffin, Earthen Vessel, and Ultra Ball that were already included in the deck. And the TM Evolution is definitely staying in here. We've got the Hops Choice Belt, or Choice Band, sorry. That way you can do 30 more damage and it attacks cost colorless less. So effectively, if you have the Postwick and the Choice Band in play, the attack of Shoot Through is effectively 0 energy for 110 to the active and 50 to the benched Pokemon, which is just crazy in pre-release to think about bench damage. We kept the 1 Jet Energy from the kit, and then in turn, I did just cut some of these basic energy. We're down to 5 lightning and 5 basic metal. We really don't want a lot of energy. We're just going to try and attack for 1. We're free with the Corviknight and potentially free with the Noivern. But this is the 40 card deck that I ended up building out of the Build and Battle kit, as well as the 4 booster packs. We did hit our fantastic Amoonguss EX, which I'm not going to use, and our Magirans, which I almost thought about using, but didn't quite get there, and the 3rd Corviknight, which we have ways to search for it, so I didn't want to bulk up the deck with a 3rd copy. But please go play in a Pokemon pre-release. They're a lot of fun. If you found this video informative, helpful, whatever, take a moment to like the video, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this deck, the pulls that I had, or what you're excited to pull from Journey Together. And of course, if you're new here, subscribe for more Pokemon TCG content like this. I promise in the future, these are not as scuffed as this video. I wanted to try something a little bit different to make it more personable and helpful, but I ended up screwing up. So if you've made it to this far of the end, it really means a lot. Thank you for taking the time to spend with me here on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the future. My work schedule is changing, so I'll be able to upload and do more on the channel in the very, very, very near future. That's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.